At first glance, Oakwood Hill appears to be the epitome of suburban bliss. Located in the heart of suburban America, its picturesque streets are lined with towering oak trees and quaint two-story homes. But beneath the facade of perfection lies a dark secret that has been hiding in plain sight for decades. For over 40 years, residents of Oakwood Hill have lived alongside each other in an atmosphere of forced harmony. They attend church together on Sundays, participate in neighborhood potluck dinners, and even share their kids' sports schedules. But amidst all this camaraderie, a chilling phenomenon has been unfolding. 17 families who live within a 3-block radius have reported receiving strange packages containing anonymous documents detailing intimate secrets about each other's lives. Rumors swirled for months before authorities were forced to intervene in 2019 when Emily Wilson, a local journalist, received one of these mysterious packets. Inside, she found documents exposing her husband's secret infidelity and her son's involvement in a school scandal. Emily's discovery sparked outrage among the community, but it also led her down a rabbit hole of deceit that would ultimately change everything. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered an astonishing web of connections between Oakwood Hill residents. It turned out that many of these families were actually related, not by blood, but by manipulation. The mysterious packages, it seemed, were merely the tip of the iceberg. Behind the tranquil streets and manicured lawns, a sinister force had been at work for years, weaving a complex tapestry of lies and fabrications that threatened to upend the very foundations of this seemingly idyllic community. But who was behind this orchestrated deception? And what drove them to orchestrate such an intricate scheme? The answers, much like the truth itself, would prove to be both shocking and disturbing. Meet Oakwood Hill, a seemingly idyllic neighborhood nestled in the heart of suburban America. With over 500 homes, each one a perfectly proportioned rectangle with precisely trimmed hedges and an inviting front porch. The residents of Oakwood Hill take pride in their community, often hosting block parties and potluck dinners that bring everyone together. But scratch beneath the surface, and you'll find a web of secrets and lies that threaten to upend the very fabric of this supposedly perfect neighborhood. Take, for example, the Smith family's immaculate lawn. It's been the subject of envy among Oakwood Hill residents for years, but what they don't know is that it's not just a product of hard work and dedication. In reality, it's maintained by an army of undocumented migrant workers who toil in the shadows, unseen and unappreciated. Or consider the Jones family next-door neighbors, the Watsons. They've been friends with the Jones for years, attending every school event and volunteering together at local charity functions. But what no one knows is that Mr. Watson has a history of embezzlement from his previous employer, and his wife has a secret addiction to prescription painkillers. These are just two examples of the countless secrets hidden in plain sight within Oakwood Hill's seemingly tranquil streets. But as we'll discover, these lies are merely symptoms of a far more sinister issue that threatens to expose the darkest underbelly of this so-called paradise. Meet Oakwood Hill, a seemingly idyllic neighborhood nestled in the heart of suburban America. With its neatly trimmed hedges and uniform facades, it's easy to get swept up in the charm. But scratch beneath the surface, and a web of deceit begins to unravel. Local resident and stay-at-home mom, Karen Thompson, was the first to sound the alarm. She began noticing discrepancies in her neighbors' alibis during the Oakwood Hill community's annual block party last summer. Specifically, she recalled seeing Tom Bradley, a local businessman, and Sarah Patel, a working mother of two, simultaneously arguing with each other over something that seemed trivial at the time. But when Thompson started digging deeper, she discovered some disturbing patterns. It turned out that both Bradley and Patel had identical alibis for several significant events in recent years: the night of the big storm in 2018, which caused a neighborhood-wide power outage, the evening of the annual Halloween party in 2019, during which several residents reported seeing suspicious activity in the woods behind Oakwood Hill, and the morning of the town's major parade just last month. Further investigation revealed that Bradley and Patel were not only at these events together but also owned identical cars with virtually no distinguishing features. Neighbors claimed to have seen them swapping vehicles on multiple occasions, which raises more questions than answers. Who was driving the other car? And what were they doing in those places at exactly 2:47 a.m.? As Thompson continued her research, she compiled a comprehensive list of suspicious coincidences and anomalies that spanned several years. At first, it seemed like just a series of unfortunate incidents or sloppy record-keeping, but when taken together, the evidence paints a far more sinister picture. And then there's the matter of the neighborhood's unexplained uniformity. Why do all the houses look so similar? Why are the lawns always cut to exactly 3 inches in length? The more Thompson dug, the clearer it became. Oakwood Hill was not just a neighborhood, it was a facade. As we delve deeper into the lives of Oakwood Hill's residents, a peculiar pattern begins to emerge. On the surface, it appears as though these individuals have built their lives around each other, creating an intricate web of relationships that seem genuine and authentic. However, a closer examination reveals a disturbing trend, one that raises questions about the very fabric of their community. Take, for instance, Sarah Johnson, who has been a pillar of Oakwood Hill's volunteer work for years. She's always at the forefront of charity events, effortlessly charming her way into the hearts of everyone around her. But what few people know is that Sarah has been using her position to manipulate others, exploiting their good intentions for personal gain. Similarly, Mark Thompson, the self-proclaimed Mr. Fix-It of Oakwood Hill, has a history of dubious business dealings. His handyman services are always in high demand, but sources close to the community have revealed that he's been using his reputation to swindle vulnerable homeowners out of their savings. But perhaps the most striking example is that of Emily, who appears to be living a perfect life as the wife of Oakwood Hill's beloved schoolteacher. However, when we dug deeper into her background, we discovered that she was actually married previously, and her husband's disappearance under mysterious circumstances has never been fully explained. As we continue to peel back the layers of Oakwood Hill's seemingly idyllic facade, it becomes increasingly clear that these individuals are not who they claim to be. The truth is far more sinister than anyone could have imagined, and raises essential questions about the reliability of eyewitness accounts, the ease with which lies can be perpetuated in communities, and the long-term consequences for those living under false pretenses. Furthermore, it's crucial to examine how such a culture of deception can thrive without being detected. We must consider the factors that contribute to an environment where people feel pressured or incentivized to hide their true identities and histories. By analyzing these dynamics, we may uncover deeper insights into human behavior and the psychology behind Oakwood Hill's residents' actions. Moreover, this case study also highlights the importance of vigilant community engagement and scrutiny in maintaining trust within neighborhoods. As our investigation continues, we will explore how local law enforcement, social services, and even individual residents unwittingly played a role in perpetuating these deceptions. What becomes clear is that the truth behind Oakwood Hill's seemingly ordinary facade is far more complex and disturbing than anyone could have anticipated. It was a typical Tuesday evening when I stumbled upon a cryptic message on the neighborhood's online forum. A user named ConcernedCitizen88 had posted about an unusual pattern in the local water bills. At first, I thought it was just another case of small-town gossip, but as I dug deeper, I discovered that 27 out of 50 households on Oakwood Hill had reported identical discrepancies. The bills were for a whopping $200 more than expected, with no explanation from the utility company. It wasn't until I spoke to Mrs. Johnson, a retired librarian who lives in the adjacent house, that the story took a dark turn. She revealed that her late husband, a former accountant, had been working on a project to expose some shady dealings within the neighborhood's HOA. It turned out that Oakwood Hill's Homeowners Association was raking in thousands of dollars from mysterious fees added to every resident's bill. When I confronted the HOA president, Mrs. Thompson, she seemed evasive and nervous, muttering something about necessary expenses. But what really raised my eyebrows was when I found a confidential document hidden within the HOA's records. The document revealed that the association had been secretly collecting millions of dollars from an unknown source over the past decade. The numbers were staggering: $2.5 million in 2018 alone, with no clear explanation or accounting for where this money went. As I continued to dig,